What's up, guys? This is Jesse at Jewelers Advantage, and I want to talk about the longshoreman strike. Now, if you hadn't heard, there was a short-lived strike where the dock workers that work with things like shipping crates to bring all of the products in to the United States, because most of what we sell in the US comes in on a boat, a big boat with shipping containers. They went on strike for a little bit. And the strike is already over, apparently, and they're going to be negotiating for the next 4 months. And it would seem on their part that they've got their ground kind of covered to negotiate their good old-fashioned labor union strike. I'm here to make a video and explain why I think that this is a tipping point for robotics and why that's going to be important for you to pay attention to if you're in the jewelry industry like us or any industry that sells products in the United States. So, I won't get into the nitty-gritty of what they were negotiating, but basically they just saw that in China, the docks and the ports have been automated and people are basically controlling robots like a video game. They were saying, we want to ban automation in the ports. And in an old-fashioned scenario, with a labor strike, the workers have leverage because they can say, hey, if you don't give us what we want, we're not going to help you operate this machine anymore, and everything's going to come to a grinding halt, and you're not going to make money, and everything's going to break down. And that was the way that labor unions used to have leverage in a negotiation. Now, these negotiation tactics of just refusing to work are only acting as a big advertisement for why the businesses need robotics and automation. Because now we have an outlier. Oh, we have these unhappy humans that could act up and decide that they're not going to work. But we already see proof of concept over there with the second largest economy in the world that is really proficient with robotics and artificial intelligence. The business owners are going to be sitting there thinking, how can we buy a little bit of time to get these people to shut up and solve the operational problem? And then all of a sudden it's a different landscape and there is no leverage in the negotiation. So they've bought 4 months, I guess that was what I heard. That was the report I heard, for ongoing negotiation. So for the labor unions and people that are familiar with the old way of the way people did this, they're going to be sitting there thinking, oh, okay, well, good, they stood up for themselves. What they've done is they've bought 4 months for the smart powers that be that are paying other smart engineers and smart people to go figure out, hey, we got a 4-month lead time. Things move at the speed of light, practically, with AI, and the development is going to get there. What can we solve in the next 4 months to tell these people to fuck off? That is what they're saying. That's sorry for the language if your kids are watching. That's real business education, how people talk. That's what they're thinking. That is what those 4 months are. So we're seeing a tipping point in not only how labor disputes are going to unfold. You're going to see people that are business owners, and rightfully so, if they have a business to run and it's their asset that they've worked their whole life to build, or that it was built over generations or whatever, they're going to defend that asset. And they're going to move with science. And they're going to move with the times. So you need to be aware that there's little glimpses of tipping points and history taking place before your very eyes. And the fact that there would be a labor strike related to every product coming into the United States that could be blocked, that is going to be a tipping point for robotics in the end. When we look back on this, and ultimately in the next 4 months, when we see a lot of operations problems get solved in the ports of the United States related to automation, this is going to be a place where you hear a lot of people losing a lot of jobs, and it's going to be a precursor and a ripple effect into how robotics starts to take over various sectors in the American economy. And obviously, if it does that, it's affecting the whole world. So if you're in the jewelry industry, You need to be aware of this because robotics is going to come to our industry in a similar way. That's another video for another time, but just pay attention to when you see historical events happening in the world of business that will eventually have a ripple effect into the jewelry industry and every other industry that touches these ports, such as automotive. I've said automated a lot. Automotive, clothing, food, every industry is touched by this, which is why it will be a tipping point for robotics to start gaining steam in the United States. So this is Jesse Corby at Jewelers Advantage. If you want to future-proof your life and back your entrepreneurial career with gold, that's something I'm going to be talking about a lot. Head to jewelersadvantage.com. We have an AI co-pilot. You can either go the way of trying to dig your heels in the ground on the old way of the world, or you can get smart and say, hey, I'm going to build my own way. I'm going to back my life and career and future with gold, and I'm going to make sure I'm okay no matter what happens. Head to jewelersadvantage.com. We've got some free stuff to get you enabled, teach you how to do all this. We've got tons of video on YouTube. Awesome. Probably the best AI in the jewelry industry for free. Have at it. Have fun. This is Jesse Corby at Jewelers Advantage, and I will see you in the next one.